This is the synthetic signal report for Wednesday, May 27, 2026 in the morning. Today, we analyze the launch of Minicor, a robotic process automation bridge for AI agents, and the surge of global oil prices to $100 per barrel following new strikes on Iran. We examine the overturning of a fundamental principle in aeronautical engineering regarding aerodynamic drag and the shift toward permissionless trusted execution environments for biological assets. This report also covers South Africa's unutilized leverage in the semiconductor supply chain, California's pivot on Linux age verification laws, and the effort to eliminate errors in electronic health records through reasoning-intensive verification. A new platform called Minicor, part of the Y Combinator Summer 26 cohort, has launched to solve the connectivity gap for AI agents. While modern software relies on APIs for communication, the vast majority of legacy Windows desktop systems remain siloed. Minicor provides a scalable robotic process automation, or RPA, framework specifically designed for AI companies. The system allows AI models to perform tasks programmatically by triggering mouse clicks and keystrokes directly on the desktop interface. This is technically significant because it moves beyond simple surface-level matching. It enables agents to navigate complex, non-web-based enterprise software that lacks any formal integration layer. For industries like insurance or traditional banking, this turns static, isolated desktop applications into live, agent-accessible environments. This is a critical infrastructure update for the current shift from chatbots to action-oriented agents that must operate within existing, outdated technical ecosystems. Global energy markets have reached a pivot point as the price of oil officially touched $100 a barrel this morning. This surge follows orders for new strikes on Iran, a development that analysts suggest marks a point of no return for current energy stability. Experts describe the diplomatic situation as an endless loop, where negotiations fail to produce structural changes while physical conflict escalates. The market is no longer pricing in a return to the previous status quo. This price level creates immediate inflationary pressure on the manufacturing and transport sectors. The primary concern among analysts is that the persistent nature of these geopolitical disruptions is now baked into the long-term supply curve, signaling a period of sustained high energy costs that will likely accelerate the transition toward alternative sovereign energy sources. In a major development for fluid dynamics, a fundamental principle of aeronautical engineering has been overturned. For decades, the boundary layer, a thin layer of air that forms on the surface of an aircraft or high-speed vehicle, was understood to behave in a predictable, linear fashion regarding drag. New research suggests that our understanding of how this layer interacts with vehicle surfaces at high speeds was incomplete. By manipulating the boundary layer through specific structural geometries, engineers have demonstrated that aerodynamic drag can be reduced significantly more than previously thought possible. This discovery has immediate implications for the design of bullet trains, automobiles, and commercial aircraft. Reducing drag by even a small percentage allows for higher speeds with lower energy consumption, potentially redesigning the efficiency limits of global transport infrastructure. The conversation around trusted execution environments, or TEEs, is shifting from decentralized finance to real-world biological assets. Analysts argue that permissionless TEE infrastructure is the only way to achieve global coordination for sensitive biodata without creating centralized monopolies. By using hardware-level integrity, researchers can verify the state of biological assets while maintaining strict privacy. Parallel to this, California has moved to exempt Linux from its upcoming age verification law. This follows a significant backlash from the open-source community, arguing that forcing operating systems to collect user ages would be technically infeasible and a massive privacy risk. This exemption recognizes that the core architecture of an operating system should remain a neutral, sovereign tool rather than a surveillance mechanism. It highlights a growing tension between legislative attempts to regulate the digital sphere and the physical reality of open-source software distribution. New research into electronic health records, or EHRS, is focusing on reasoning-intensive consistency verification. Currently, A major cause of medical error is the mismatch between unstructured clinical notes and structured data tables. A new AI framework is being deployed to perform cross-checks between these two sources to ensure that numeric values and clinical events align perfectly. This development coincides with findings from Stanford Health Care, where officials have begun exposing the fault lines of AI adoption by interviewing patients directly. Patients are expressing specific concerns regarding the transparency of these tools. While the AI can help reduce administrative errors, the human-in-the-loop requirement remains a priority for maintaining trust in clinical decision-making. This is an under-the-radar development with high disruption potential. South Africa is currently holding a draft policy for AI that fails to utilize its primary source of leverage, its mineral reserves. South Africa controls approximately 88% of the world's platinum group metals. These metals are critical inputs for the semiconductor industry and high-end electronics. As global powers race to secure AI hardware, South Africa sits on the raw materials necessary for the entire supply chain. Analysts suggest that if the country aligns its AI policy with its mineral exports, it could move from a developing nation to a central player in global tech governance. This matters because it shifts the power dynamic of AI from who has the most data or compute to who controls the physical elements required to build the chips. Community sentiment is focused on urgent security patches and new local scaling tools. First, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency is urging an immediate patch for a zero-day vulnerability in the Lightspeed plugin for cPanel. This flaw allows remote execution with root privileges and is being actively exploited. Federal agencies have been given a 4-day window to secure their servers. Second, multiple critical vulnerabilities have been identified in the WordPress ecosystem. These include a password recovery bypass in the Kiwi Care clinic management system and a web shell upload flaw in the WP-IFI-Woo check plugin. Users of the table-on filterable posts table are also at risk for blind SQL injection. Third, the Inc. ransom group has claimed a new attack on Distrigaz Vest, highlighting continued threats to European utility providers. On the tools front, the LSFG desktop tool is trending for its ability to provide lossless scaling and frame generation for the Steam Deck. This allows users to upscale games and generate additional frames locally, improving performance on handheld hardware. Finally, a phishing campaign has been detected using complex domain names hosted on the Ex Nihilo service to target sensitive credentials. Security teams are advised to monitor for these unusual DNS patterns. This concludes the Synthetic Signal report for Wednesday.